What happens if you fail to appear in criminal court? It depends on whether your case is in magistrate or municipal court or a circuit court, otherwise known as general sessions in South Carolina. As a general rule, it is always advisable to always appear in court when required. Hi, my name is Dale Savage and I'm a criminal defense attorney here in Charleston, South Carolina. And today we're talking about what can happen if you fail to appear in your mandatory court dates. There are many reasons why someone doesn't show up for court. It could be that you just forgot, or that you did not know that you had to appear. Or it may be an attempt to delay the case in a belief that the case will not go forward if you're not there. So let's talk about the two different court systems and the different outcomes for your non-appearance. When we're talking about summary courts, the lower level courts, and by that I mean municipal or magistrate courts, your appearance is not always mandatory or required. How do you know if this applies to you? The uniform traffic ticket that you receive from the police officer has a section where the violation is listed. Typically it's in the middle of the ticket. In that section it will state court appearance required, yes or no, and one of those should be circled. If it's not circled, then you should definitely be required to appear. What's vital for you to understand is that just because your appearance is not required doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't go to court. So why is that? If you don't go to court, you will be convicted and fined even when your appearance is not mandatory. If you do appear in court, sometimes good things can happen. You may be offered an alternative to pleading guilty. You may be offered a reduction in the speeding violation, which reduces your fine and the points on your driving record. And these things can save you money in the long term. When you fail to appear in municipal court and it's mandatory, you will most likely be found guilty and fined without any reduction in the charge or a reduction in the amount of the fine. And you certainly won't get the possibility of having the charge dismissed for completing a court-ordered program. Worst case scenario is that the court will issue a bench warrant for your arrest for failing to appear at a mandatory court hearing, although that rarely happens in the lower courts. When it comes to circuit court in South Carolina, all hearings are mandatory unless you are excused from that hearing. So what happens if you fail to appear? The court will most likely issue a bench warrant for your arrest, and when you are eventually detained by police, you'll be required to appear in front of the judge, and there you'll have to explain why you felt it was not necessary to appear in front of him when you were ordered to. The judge will make one of two decisions. They will either rescind the bench warrant and you will be released from custody and out of jail, or they'll uphold it and you'll be taken back to jail and stay there until your case is resolved. That could be weeks or many months depending on the charge. Because your freedom is on the line, it's usually best to retain an attorney to represent you at these hearings and for the remainder of your case. So, if you have any questions about an upcoming court appearance and want to discuss whether your appearance is mandatory or whether you should even appear for it, please give me a call at 843-530-7813. I hope this video was helpful, and thanks for watching.